Hey guys, it's December. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome back. If you have been with me in 2016, I didn't want to come back until I can give you guys better quality, better content, and have a lot of that stuff coming up. Today I'm going to be doing this fall makeup look in honor of spooky season and it being cold as hell outside already. I'm also going to be discussing why I had left YouTube for a little bit, and I'm going to be telling you guys my labor stories and just giving you an overall life update on everything that's been going on over the past 4 years. So if you're looking forward to this video, please like and subscribe, and let's get into it. Y'all, the devil has been working against me to get this video out. This is my 3rd time filming, but we're gonna get it this time. I guess in the spirit of fall and spooky season, we're gonna be doing a more fall, cool tone weather makeup look. I'm gonna be using the James Charles palette today just because this has been like my go-to palette for every look lately. And I don't have the little sheet with the names on it, so I'm just gonna show you. I'm first going into this color with my crease. I'm not gonna be using like any really warm tones. I'm mostly gonna be using this color, this color, this color, and I think that might be it. Just a 3-color look. When I started filming, I was about 27 weeks pregnant. I just did the formation tour, Get Ready With Me. That's how you know it was a long time that I filmed. About 3 weeks after that, me and the girl's dad ended up breaking up. We had been together for 6 years, and then we just ended having this big, ugly breakup. Which, I mean, it was a little expected that it was coming, but it was still, we were very off and on, and after that, we were very off. I originally intended my channel to be a family channel, but after that happened, I kind of got a little discouraged from filming. So I'm going to be going in with the lighter shade now. I know a lot of people do the outer crease and then the lighter shade, but I like to do the outer crease, lighter shade, and then clean up whatever. You guys, I don't think I'm good at makeup. I just think my makeup comes out good. There's a difference. So we broke up at 30 weeks, and then I stopped recording. I just didn't feel like I had any reason to keep filming, and then I just had a lot of stuff going on in my personal life outside of the breakup. After that, I was sad. I was just not in the mood for makeup or filming. And then at 36 weeks, I was 36 weeks and 6 days. I had an appointment, a doctor's appointment, and I went, and while I was there, like I wasn't sitting in the lobby waiting to be called back, and I just felt like wet. I don't know what better word to use, but I just felt wet. My doctor called me back 10 minutes later, and I said, I'm leaking. She was like, go to the hospital. She didn't tell me my results, didn't tell me if my water had broken. She was just like, go to the hospital. So I went to the hospital, and you know when you go, I'm just patting this dark color in, and I'm gonna blend it with a bigger brush. But you know when you go to the hospital and they like take you to triage and make sure you're in labor, and then they admit you, they just put me in a bed. I was hooked up and I was like waiting, and I'm like, hey, did my water break? And the nurse is like, no. And I'm like, okay. I'm thinking I'm gonna get sent home at some point, because I'm like, if my water did not break, I'm 36 weeks and 6 days, and I was also only 2 centimeters dilated. Why am I here? So I called my mom and Leah's dad and my aunt. They all waited in the room with me. First, my appointment was at 10 o'clock. By the time after everyone gets there and settled, it's like 3 o'clock by now. I do start having like mild contractions. They were a little more than Braxton Hicks, but they weren't uncomfortable. They were just enough to notice that they were contractions. And at that point, it's like they were only happening like every 20 minutes. So they're monitoring them on the screen, and the nurse is like, oh, you're having contractions. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, and I'm going home anyway. I just had no hope that I was gonna stay there. So I'm gonna be using 2 different Makiage foundations. When I mix the shades together, they actually end up being my shade. Even though I'm contracting, I'm not progressing. I'm still only 2 centimeters. I'm not full term. Maybe they just wanted to monitor me because I was not full term, but they didn't didn't explain that to me. The contractions are pretty, they're like every 5 to 10 minutes now, 5 to 10 minutes apart now. So I'm sitting there, and I think the nurse is in the room. She's not talking to me or anything, but I'm talking to my mom. And the contractions didn't hurt at all. I think I like joked about something to an epidural to my mom. And the nurse was like, if you want an epidural, we can call the anesthesiologist. And I'm like, okay. I knew the contractions were going to get worse. And even though I've always wanted a natural birth, I've always wimped out. The anesthesiologist came in, gave me an epidural, and I'm just sitting there, 2 centimeters dilated, 36 weeks and 6 days, contracting, and still thinking I'm gonna go home. And they weren't telling me anything, and I was just expecting it, so I wasn't really asking anything. I'm using the Makiage Fucking Flawless concealer in 13. Even though they sent me the wrong color, I actually like their foundation and concealer, but I don't like ordering makeup online. I'd rather go to the store. So around 12 a.m. this doctor comes in. Mind you, I've been there since about 12 p.m. This doctor comes in, and that's the first doctor that I'm seeing or hearing from other than the nurses that were there. He comes in and he's like, we're gonna try and break your water. And I was like, okay. So he came in, he got me into position, and he tried to break my water. He was unsuccessful. A lot of people say getting your water broken is painful. It's not painful to me at all. But it literally felt like he was doing nothing. Like it felt like, I don't know. I put my legs up, and he was like, I didn't get it. And I'm just thinking, like, did you even try? After that, I'm still thinking that I'm going to go home because I'm 2 centimeters. My water hasn't broken. Literally nothing was giving me any insight that I was in labor or that this was going to happen. I was only nothing. After that, I ended up sleeping till like 7:30 in the morning. A new doctor comes in. I'm guessing they switched shifts in the night, but a new doctor comes in, and she's like, hey, I heard they tried to break your water. I'm gonna try and do it myself. And I'm gonna be using my Maybelline Fit Me loose powder in medium deep. She came in and she was like, hey, I heard they were unsuccessful breaking your water. I'm gonna try and do it myself. And in my mind, I'm like, yeah, okay. So she got the little hook thing again, and she broke my water. After I had been there for like 18 hours, or no, it was like 20 hours at this point, strapped to a bed, numb legs, I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna have a baby. I'm gonna be using the Revlon Stay Matte Concealer to contour. After they broke my water, the contractions got intense. Even for having had an epidural, I could tell like things were happening. When I'm in labor, I don't want you to talk. I don't want you to touch me. Observe. And when I'm in pain, unless you want to get cursed out, you better shut up. People were like trying to comfort me and stuff, and I'm like, it was just making me more tense because I couldn't talk because I was in pain, but I couldn't tell them to leave me the hell alone because I was also in pain. I'm gonna put a little Pacifica. This concealer like dries really fast, so I'm gonna put a little Pacifica on my brush, which I usually use this brush for concealer because I feel like it gets in their spaces better. But I'm just putting a little on the brush just to make the concealer movable again. It looks like I'm getting plastic surgery. Around 10 o'clock, I was fully dilated. Started pushing at about 10:20 after they had finished getting ready, and at 10:37 she was here. Her name is Leah Rain. She is so sweet and small. She's still super small and skinny. She was a little baby. She was 7.5 pounds. For me, that's little. For most people, I feel like that's the norm. For me, that's little baby. My first baby was 9 pounds. And then 9.5 pounds. My second baby was 8 pounds. And then Leah came out 7 pounds. And I had never seen a baby that small. I guess fat ass babies just running my family. And we were all happy to have her. My aunts and uncles still trip off the fact that she looks just like my grandpa. Things still didn't stop changing after I had her. Actually kind of got more hectic. We moved around. We moved right after she was born, literally like in the same week she was born. Then we moved a couple months after she was born. Then we stayed there until 2018. I'm gonna take the Kylie Jenner Tawny Mami bronzer just to layer on top of that contour and to warm up my face a little bit. And I'm taking a little powder just to clean up my temple areas again. Like I told y'all, I don't think I'm good at makeup. I just think it comes out good. So I got pregnant with Luna in December 2018. Her pregnancy was tough. I had at least 3 different hospital stays before she actually arrived. I'm using Kylie Jenner Commando Velvet liquid lipstick. Yeah, so I went to the hospital 37 weeks and 3 days. They checked me. I was 5 centimeters dilated. I'm like, holy shit, I'm having a baby today. I'm just gonna put on the NYX butter gloss, and I think it's Madeline. But I was shook. I knew I was gonna be having a baby that day because I was 5 centimeters. Why would they send me home? I'm gonna go in with this Mega Glow Wet n Wild Halo liquid highlighter, and then I'm gonna top it with my Lion King Sir John Luminous Circle of Life highlighter that I use with every look. I wish I had bought so many more of them when they came out because they're limited edition. And it's Beyonce's makeup artist. But I only have the one and it crumbled. So I do use it whenever I use highlighter, but I'm gonna cry the day it goes out. I was at the hospital and I literally put this everywhere. They didn't do a lot to help me progress when I thought I was in labor that time. I was in triage and I was waiting to get moved to a room because I was 5 centimeters contracting every 5 minutes. I stayed there for a few hours. They had me walk around the hallways and to see if that would help me progress at all. I did it. And so I got there at around 8 o'clock. 12:30 they came in like, hey, we're gonna discharge you. And I'm like, excuse me? I'm just like, can you stretch me or can you like sweep my membranes, like something? And she's like, no, darling, your 37 weeks isn't full term anymore. If you're before 39 weeks, it would be illegal for us to help you. After all that I just said, I still just went and spilled half of my highlighter out. So I'm just layering it where I put the liquid highlighter. So I was shook. I'm like, y'all gonna send me home? Like, I kind of had an attitude. I was trying not to have an attitude because, like, I guess I understood. But anyway, whatever. I'm gonna put a little bit of don't judge my thing, y'all. I love this kit. My Anastasia kit, the orange color, just to warm up my face a little bit and help blend that highlighter into my contour. At 39 weeks pregnant, I called them to try and book my final appointment to go see my midwife, and they kind of cut me off. They were like, wait, is this December? And I'm like, yeah. We're gonna call you right back. And kind of just hung up the phone, and I'm like, okay. And so they called me back, and they were like, hey, your midwife wants you to come in tomorrow morning at 6:30 a.m. for an induction. And I was like, well, oh, okay. Like, I guess she could hear how nervous I sounded in my voice because she started laughing. And I mean, this is what I wanted, but I was like, tomorrow? Like, usually I feel like when they tell you you're going to come for an induction, it's like, you're gonna come in 4 days. And then I would have to sit there and wait, but no, they were like tomorrow, and it was like 3 p.m. So now I'm using this Wet n Wild, I always want to say Wet Seal, a Wet n Wild liquid liner. I've kind of been over like winged eyeliner. I don't know why. And as always, we're going to accidentally make the eyeliner bigger than we want. So we went at 6:30 for an induction. I was determined to have my birth as natural as possible, which is another reason I was shocked that my midwife scheduled an induction, but I was kind of okay with it because I was ready for her to get out, and I didn't think it would be so bad since I was 5 centimeters. I feel like you always hear horror stories about inductions because it'll be like first-time moms or moms who, well, I'm no, a lot of the pregnancy videos out, I feel like 90% of them have been, hey, we're getting induced, and I'm like, why is everybody getting induced? So we went in at 6:30 a.m. and they hooked me up, and I feel like for the most part it moved pretty quick. Like by 7:30 I was on Pitocin. They had me I did for the most part get to have the birthing process I wanted. I don't really believe in birthing plans, but sometimes you just want certain situations. Like I got to bounce on the ball. I wasn't strapped down to the bed. I was able to walk around, get up. If I had to go to the bathroom, I could just walk to the bathroom. I bounced on the ball. I'm going to take just a little bit of foundation and clean that up, the eyeliner up where I messed it. It's about 10 o'clock now, and they come in like, hey, the midwife wants to try and break your water. Is that okay? And I'm like, I just got here. Which, I mean, I have been there, but I was fine with it. I was fine with them breaking my water. It was an induction, so I wasn't just sitting around. They were getting things moving. And I was glad that they asked instead of just barging in the room with the hook, like, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to do my eyeliner real fast. I'm going to go in with the little brush and take that color we used in our crease, and I'm just going to put it under my eye. So she came in and broke my water. You guys, she did it so freaking gentle. Like, remember with the other doctor, I was like, it felt like he was doing nothing. It felt like she was doing nothing as well, but she actually did it. I ended up getting back on the ball after she broke my water, and as soon as I crouched down on the ball, it was just like, shh. Luckily they had put a pad down on the ball to catch it, but I was like, oh, I was sitting there just bouncing and gushing. It sounds dirty, but I was bouncing and gushing. I'm gonna spray a little NYX Dewy Finish setting spray before I do my lashes. I am gonna take a little bit of this shade right here and adding it to the corner of my eyes. As any mom knows, once your water breaks, shit gets real quick. So I guess by the noises I was making, they got me up on the bed and checked me. Student nurse checked me, and then the nurse would check me just to double check her check. I'm just gonna go with that powder one last time now that we have the spray on, just to clean up what I think looks messy. So the student nurse checked me, and she said I was 6 centimeters. But once they got me up on the bed after bouncing on that ball, the pain really struck. I was like, no, I'm not getting back on that ball. And usually when I've given birth in the past, I've always been like in a laying position, strapped to the bed, can't move, can't make any decisions. So they set me up in that bed, and I really felt the pressure of being like upright, working towards getting that baby out. And so I kind of just gave into the pain, which is what I didn't want to do. I gave into the pain, and I was like, I need something. It's almost 12 o'clock at this point, and I managed to get out the words. I managed to get out the words, epidural, I want an epidural. I gave up. And then, so they got the anesthesiologist. He came in literally 5 minutes after that. And I'm sitting there on the bed, like, thinking, do I really want to do this? I'm crying to the nurse, feeling like I gave up. She was giving me so many positive affirmations. I really wish I remember her name because she helped me so much. But when I tell y'all, from the time the anesthesiologist walked out the room to the time she was here, felt like 2 minutes. The epidural didn't have time to kick in at all. It has to be like 12:10 at that point. I only know this because there was a digital clock on the wall. Because I wasn't that far along when I got the epidural, I'm not thinking I'm anywhere near ready to push now, 10 minutes later. But I'm thinking, by the sounds I'm making, the nurse knew something was up. She had the student nurse check me, and she sounded iffy. She's like, I think she's still at a 6. And the nurse was like, move over. So she checked me, and she's like, you're ready to push. At that point, I'm in so much pain. I'm like sitting back on the bed, like with my eyes squint shut because I'm in so much pain that I just need darkness, and I'm trying to get inside my own head at this point. It's like the epidural didn't kick in, but I'm realizing that it's too late and that I need to just try to center myself. Like, I don't know why I couldn't do that before, but at this point, I guess I'm realizing I have no choice. So I have my eyes closed, and I hear people like rummaging around the room to get ready for me to push. And so I closed my eyes. The room went dead silent, so I peeked out on one eye to see why I couldn't hear anything. And the lights are dim, and everybody's just standing around me looking at me, and I'm like, can I push now? And they're like, yeah, this is like, that's why I loved having a midwife. I guess it's different if you don't have kids and you haven't had kids before, that you do kind of need guidance. But for me, I feel like I pretty much know what I'm doing even when I'm in pain. I know my body that I don't need that much guidance in labor other than how far dilated I am. I looked up at the clock and it was 12:30, and I'm like, I'm getting this baby out. So I started pushing my life away. I know you're supposed to wait for contractions, but I guess my contractions were pretty consistent at that point where I could just keep pushing. So I just kept pushing. Pushing does not hurt for me at all. I mean, it's not comfortable, of course. It feels like something, but compared to contractions, pushing into contractions just gives so much relief. And you know you're about to have your baby and you're about to be done with all that pain. So just push that baby out. Started at 12:30, and at 12:35 she was here. And the midwife actually let her dad catch her, which was something I wanted. But in my pain and my determination to push, it wasn't something that I had just like said. But she actually was like, Dad, do you want to catch the baby? And he caught her. She was born September 4th, so she just turned 1. Her name was Kai. She was just as small as Leah too. Like, she was like 7 pounds 10 ounces, so she wasn't a big baby. I can't say that now. She's a pretty big ass baby now. But yes, she's here and she's healthy. All the 4 girls are healthy. I wish I had documented my pregnancy with her for YouTube. And I was kind of sad because I'm like, this is my last baby and I wasn't able to do like, you know, my YouTube thing like I wanted to. But now I have the opportunity to do it again because I am pregnant with baby number 5. And I'm going to explain all of that in my next video. So we reached the end of the video. I did my makeup, you guys. We're here to struggle with me for my fall makeup look, and I want you guys to like and subscribe this video, and I'm gonna keep on producing more content. I'm going to be making more videos. I have tons of ideas for my next couple of videos, and I can't wait for you guys to see them. So thank you for watching, and bye.
Eureka, look on the track.